Hello there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You know who it is, Robin Fahmy. It is Thursday evening at 6:30, and I am here with you now. And now is the operative word that really will make a full difference in your life because the things that you can do now are the things that you will get done. And my appointment with you every Thursday is very important to me, very valuable to me. I cherish the time because it's a lot of things, but mainly right now it's a learning ground. I'm learning how to be in this space as a podcaster. I'm learning how to be in this space as a solar energy industry professional. I'm learning how to be in this space as a and advocate for homeowners to make sure that homeowners understand what they need to know about solar energy before they make the switch. So I just want to say thank you all very much for being here. And I'm excited because more and more and more of you are actually watching my podcast. I know that when I am live here right now, maybe there are not a lot of you on, but when I go back and look at the stats over time, I have one particular view from April 18th that had over 230 views, and that is pretty exciting to me. So thank you all very, very much for that. It means a lot because I'm still figuring this thing out. I'm figuring out how to get more people to recognize that I'm in this space. And so, actually, those of you who are watching, and I do talk to some of you, and I know that you're here every week supporting me, and I know that you are sharing the podcast with other people. I know that when you happen to be in a conversation or around people who are actually talking about solar energy, that you are actually smarter because you have been in class with me, per se. And I am so happy and so grateful. That means so, so much. So it's Thursday. We're here talking all about solar energy. I am in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex area, and more specifically, I'm in DeSoto, Texas. And I like to say that, you know, I can educate all over the country because the information that I talk about and share is universal for the most part. Now, there may be some aspects of the information that is has to be adjusted based on maybe what city or state that you're in, more specifically what state you may be in, because every state has its own laws, its own rules and regulations. But the basic idea of educating homeowners about solar energy, it really goes across the board. So where education is concerned, I can be anywhere. Like, people are watching me on Facebook from various places and even out of the United States. So that we can do. But when it comes to actually selling solar panel systems, I farm in my backyard, meaning that, there are so many people that there really is enough business for everybody. But there's more business for people like me who wants to do the right thing by you, the consumer, who wants to make sure that you are protected and who wants to make sure that you understand and Everything that you don't know about solar before you make that switch, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that you know everything that will make a difference for you. And that is the key. Not everybody is willing to give up commission and say, I don't think you should buy this right now. Let's do some things in your home, weatherize, do some things to see if we can't get that electricity bill down a little bit before you go solar. Because to go solar just because you want to lower your energy bill may not always be the thing to do right now, because it's possible that there are other things that you can do to put your home in a better position, um, where it's more energy efficient and will make solar make better sense for you. And that's my job. Now, you know, I've shown you that you like, okay, you like it and you want it. Am I going to sell it to you? Well, if you insist, I will. But I'm willing to give up the commission. I'm more connected to the commitment than the commission, because I want to be able to come home and sleep well at night. Okay, I don't want to cheat anybody, because too many people are being cheated as it is, and that's why I am out here. So Solar Logics Edu is my company. And what we are is a solar energy education company and sales organization. So the education comes first, okay? And we're doing as much as we can to really work in our area, the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex area, and more specifically creating a presence in DeSoto, Duncanville, Lancaster, Glen Heights, Red Oak, Cedar Hill. That's the um, immediate radius where I want to make a difference, because believe me, I am dealing with people almost every day who talk to me about a problem. And, you know, as a homeowner, unless you just put everything down and study solar, it's just really hard to know, you know, what's going to be a problem once you sign the paperwork. So I have a situation where one of my customers that I'm working with purchased solar, not from me, from another company. And, they had a problem with, after the deal was signed, the salesperson told them that they would actually get the tax credit. When you get the 30% tax credit, they were told that when they filed their taxes at the end of the year, that they would get that money back in cash. And so when the finance company actually sent the contract and all of that, they're looking for that customer to pay that 30%. But if he doesn't get it back in cash when he files his taxes, then where is he going to get the money from? So we're in a situation right now where they're telling us, well, we told you to talk to your tax professional and make sure that you understood that. But they didn't tell him that. His knowledge at the time he signed the contract was based on the information that the sales rep had told him. Then the finance company comes along and they go through their procedures to help you understand what it is that you're signing, but they never mention, anything about the tax credit. So now they're telling him that, well, during the welcome call, we told you that you should seek the guidance of a tax professional, but they did not. So we're now asking them to pull the call, pull the phone call, because anytime you talk to these companies, I don't care who you're calling, You can be calling the bank, you can be calling any of the utility companies, you can call finance company, insurance company. They will all say this call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes. Okay. And that means that if there's an issue, they have a reference to go back to and kind of see what the truth is. But in this case, they're slick. And here's what I mean by they're slick. During that finance qualification, once you're qualified and they take you through all the paperwork, yeah, they'll call and do a welcome call, but they're not calling you on your phone. Whoever the sales rep is, they will actually hand the phone to. They'll be on the sales rep's phone, and or they will call that sales rep back, and then they will ask to speak to you. And so the sales rep will pass you the phone and you'll talk to them, and they'll name is, and they'll through whatever. But they can't, because they did not call you on your phone. So now we have to figure out how to hold them accountable for that. So this particular customer, we're like trying to figure this out. So he actually called AT&T and asked AT&T to look at his incoming phone logs for that particular day. And what he was told was that you did not have any incoming phone calls after 5 p.m. And so we know that the representative was there 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so late. So that is how we know for certain that that welcome call did not come in. On the customer's phone, it was on the salesperson's phone. See, there are all these little bitty ways to get you hooked up, and you really don't even understand how to think about it to prove it in your favor. And that's what my job is. So now that I'm understanding this piece of it a little bit better, I would tell a customer when that financing is taking place over the phone, have them call your phone. And if they call your phone, then you can go back and pull a record. It may take you a little bit of work, but you can do that. So do don't transact any of your business over the phone of that sales rep. Have them hang up with him and call you on your number. Okay, that's just another key. Just like simple things. When door knockers are knocking on your door and you answer it and they start talking to you about solar, one of the first things you do, ask for their permit, because every solicitor should have a permit from the city to be in your neighborhood selling whatever it is that they're selling. That's number one. Number two, if they don't have a permit and you choose to talk to them, then that's on you. That's fine. You have that right. But if you do talk to them, ask for their ID, ask for information about the company, ask for a card that will show the name and the address of the company. Ask questions about the location, because we do have some solar companies that use an address, but that actual physical location is not being occupied by anybody who works for them. It's simply an address. And when when you look them up on Google or whatever, you can notice that, it's not a place where they are doing business. Now, somebody may be doing business there, but the solar installation company, they are not doing business there. Some of these companies are based out of other states like California You may have them out of Arizona. They can be from anywhere, and they can have a Texas address, which, if you see a Texas address, you're not going to ask a whole lot of questions, but you should. See, and these are things that you don't know, you know, and that's what I am wanting to do. Help you understand everything that you don't know about solar before you make the switch. Now, in saying that, I want to invite you all who can. There is a town hall meeting in DeSoto at the DeSoto Civic Center on June 20th, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening, and it will probably go to 9. I know that probably seems like a long time, but we have the time if we need it. If we end early, that's fine, but we only have 100 seats, and I do believe we are going to be full because there is lots of interest. I have realtors. I have a few other people in businesses that are closely partnered with solar who are going to be sharing the information about the town hall with their database. Like the insurance broker, she will be sharing with her database. That's a lot of people. I have 2 insurance brokers actually, and then we've got some realtors who are sharing, and I'm sharing, and then we'll be sharing advertising on Facebook. So we hope to get a lot of looks at this event, which it is on Eventbrite. So if you look for events about solar in DeSoto, it should come up. Everything homeowners don't know about solar should come up, and you can go there and register. Anybody who thinks that they're interested, I am going to urge you to sign up because we only have 100 seats. And today was the launch of the event, and we are down to 85 seats. And I mean, it's been all day when I first started posting it, but I got a feeling we're going to fill up fast. However, that is on a Thursday, so we will also be live streaming that town hall event right here in this same space where we usually are. So if you happen not to get a seat, then you will be able to see it on Facebook and on my YouTube page. So that's very exciting. Another reason that this is so exciting for me is because, I've told the story several times about how I actually got into solar. I have solar on my home. Thank God the person who sold it to me, they were telling the truth about solar and how it would work for me, because it's been beneficial. I've had solar for 3 years, and in 3 years, I'm going into my 4th year now. And in that time, I've only paid 5 electricity bills. And the other months, my bill comes in at 0. I mean, it comes in consistently at 0 unless usually I get bills in the wintertime, not in the summer, because in the summer, when it is extremely hot, we are producing energy like wildfire. I mean, that production is through the roof. So that means that I have credits that roll over every month, and it's usually enough to take care of my entire bill. But then in the wintertime, when I actually do get those bills, those 5 bills, every one of them has been in the winter, because when it's cloudy, remember when it's cloudy outside, you're not really producing energy. You're pulling from the grid, just like everybody else. And then when it's snow and ice, sometimes, like this past February, we had a lot of ice and some snow, but the ice actually sat on the panels for, I think it was a couple of weeks that we had that kind of weather going on. And so you're not producing energy. So you've got to get it from somewhere. And just like everybody else, during those times, we are pulling energy from the grid. So we have to what? We have to pay for it. Okay. Now, my favorite thing is you pay me now or you pay me later, but you're going to pay at some point almost in any situation. So I'll take 5 bills in 3.5 years over, paying high electricity bills any day. But there is so much that I have learned about solar from the time I actually started with it, started learning about it, and then actually sitting with and finally sitting with the person that we actually bought it from was really good. But there were some other aspects where the company was just totally out of integrity. I did not like it. And, it pushed me into the mindset that I have to do something about it for myself. And I have to do it now. So I was able to discover the truth, confront them about it, and I made some difference, not just for myself, but I think for other people as well, because I was able to put some information out there that people would see. So that's a good thing. And during that process was when I understood that homeowners needed an advocate, needed an advocate for them to make sure that they understood enough about what they were buying into to equalize that buying experience. So when I first came out here to sell solar, I was excited about it because, they make good money. I say that all the time, and I don't say that to brag. And listen, I haven't made the money yet because I've been selling solar now for 2 years and I've only sold one deal. Okay. But the reason I've only sold one deal is because I am a person who attracts people with problems. So I have spent the bulk of that time helping homeowners solve problems that they had with their solar and getting that straight for them. That's okay with me. So, what I began to understand is that education is very important, and somebody has to step into that lane and be willing to educate homeowners so that they don't get taken advantage of, because that's what's happening out here. And in doing so, I realized that the more homeowners that I educate, then they are more likely to say, okay, I want solar. And who are they going to get it from? Me. Okay. It's almost like a Ghostbuster, except I'm not busting ghosts, I'm busting solar. Solar energy. And thank you all for listening to my little jokes. I'm not a comedian, but that's just how it is. That's what comes into my head, and that's what I say to you. All righty. But yeah, so the education is very important. And I am willing to forego the fortune to make sure that homeowners are safe, because it's about consumer protection. um you I'm dealing with a situation with an elderly lady who was just totally taken advantage of. They put panels on her house, told her they were free. She didn't get any information until or 4 months later, when the finance company is calling, there they go. Now, you would think that we've done everything to prove that it was fraud. You would think that they would move more quickly to correct the situation, but instead they rather do an investigation. But what are they really investigating? We found out more about the situation and what happened. We don't know what they know because so far they're not sharing it. I say all the time, you all please, your elderly family members, church members, mothers, fathers, check on them. Because if they are in a living situation where they are by themselves quite often, and when people come to the door, they will answer the door. And a lot of times, they're lonely, they like it when people come and they can talk. And those kind of predators are knocking on the doors and they are gaining information that they can uh, create loans. And then your family member is stuck owing a bill that they had no intention of being a part of, and they didn't request it. So that's another thing. The finance companies are paying money out, and you didn't request it, but yet they want you to pay for it. Here's another thing. This is not hard to say, but I want you all to understand what I mean. For me, solar has been good. It has been a true bill swap, meaning that my average bill was like $328. That doesn't mean that I was paying $328 every month, but the way you come to those average numbers is you take every bill that you paid for 12 months, add it up, divided by 12. That number is your average payment amount. My panels, the bill that I pay to the finance company every month, is a little bit more than 328. It's about 360, something like that. And for me, that's okay because I get zero. Mostly my bills come in at zero. And then the money that I would have been paying on my bill, I pay on my panels. But now here is what I have learned over 3.5 years. If I could reach back and talk to my husband and I 3 years earlier about solar, I would still be for it. I would still get it, but I would only get it if I could pay for it cash out of my pocket. You hear me? Like them people in Louisiana, you heard me? And I mean that. If I knew then what I know now, I would have gotten solar as I did only if I could have paid in full in cash, not a loan from anybody. Because when these representatives knock on your door, they're talking to you about solar, they start helping you feel your pain by talking about that high electricity bill and the fact that electricity is going to continue to go up. And if you do nothing over a period of 20 years, they tell you how much money you're going to be out of. But what they don't tell you is that if you agree to purchase solar panels, yep, it's all true. You've got the cost of the panels. More than likely, it's going to help lower your electricity bill, but the finance charges are going to be almost double the cost of the panels. And that's why I would pay out of my pocket cash in full for a system rather than financing it. It's a lot to understand. And because I've done the work, now I don't understand everything, but I understand enough to know that it really just doesn't make a lot of good sense to add $150,000 in debt, onto your home. Most people who are buying solar, they still owe a mortgage. And then if your system costs $40,000, let's just say $40,000, and you finance that, depending on the charges, but I'm just going by contracts that I have seen. So a $45,000 system over 20 years, most of these contracts have $154,000 on them, meaning that's what you will pay over that 20. Only costs 40,000, but you're paying almost double in finance charges. So these are the types of things that you need to know. They never talk about that. Even when you're being processed through the finance company, they're just taking you through it, but they're not breaking those numbers down, telling you that, yep, your system costs 40,000. We're going to finance it for 20 years or whatever, but they don't say, and over that period of time, you will pay a total of 150 or whatever the number is. It's ridiculous, which is why I now know that if I knew what I know now, I would not have financed solar. If I couldn't pay for it out of my pocket, then I wouldn't have it. I would just continue with the payments to the electricity company as they come. Now, there are other things that you can do to weatherize your home, and we've talked about that. I would take as much care as I can or as I could to make sure there were no drafts, that my windows are sealed, that my air conditioner is in good working condition. And if I have 2 units, I would make sure that they both are. If there's only myself and my husband in the house and I have 2 units, is there a need for the upstairs unit to be on if we're downstairs most of the time? And, do I have an energy efficient hot water heater, my other appliances like my stove and my ovens, and well, not the stove, but the oven and the refrigerator? Are those things energy efficient? Now, for those of you who are buying new homes, if your house is 10 years old or newer, you may not really need solar because these homes are so energy efficient now that you need to live in that home for a little while and make sure that your bills are really going to be outrageous enough for you to even consider solar. But houses that 15 years old, 20, 30, yep, you might be having some issues. But if you're in a house that's 30 years old and you've never done anything to seal the windows, you may have drafts, and you have drafts. Sometimes when the house shifts, underneath the door, where the door at the bottom, you can see where it may be going. It's no longer a straight line. Maybe it's a little bit like that, and you can see daylight. If you can see daylight between doors, or anything that has to do with coming in and out, then you need to seal those areas and try and preserve your energy, because a lot of you all, your energy is going right out. You may as well be living in a house with the windows up and have the air going or the heat going, because that much is escaping, and we need to do something about that. You need to clean your ducts. Make sure that you're changing your air conditioner filters at least every 3 months. Um, Make sure that you know that air can get through the vents. So if we were to do, 7 to 10 simple things, we could probably save you a little bit of energy and have your bill go down a little bit. So it's not always that, but solar is the new thing. It's the new kid on the block, and it's coming from the government all the way down. So once the government started talking about moving to renewable energy, and we've got these inflation reduction acts, and we have all of these opportunities to sell, homeowners on these types of things. Even the EVs, the electric vehicles, that's a part of it. Now, if you have an electric vehicle and you have to go away from your home to charge it, well, that's no different than having to go away from your house to put gas in your car. But if you had solar and you were able to charge it at home, that might be a little bit worth it for you, as opposed to having to, go to those charging stations. Now, the charging stations are becoming more popular now. They're easier to find, and so that's a good thing. But when I tell you that there are so many different nuances and steps to understanding solar, you better believe me. And I hope that you all will come to see me at the town hall meeting. I'm excited about that. I started telling you earlier, the reason I got into solar, I thought I was going to get out here and make a bunch of money, but then it turns out that I'm an educator, and that's my real reason for being in this space, and it's my passion. And now I have a goal to educate 10,000 homeowners about solar energy within the next 12 months. And so that actually started at the beginning of the year. So by this time next year, I'm sure I will have surpassed 10,000, because the more people that we can educate, then those people can have conversations with their neighbors, families, and friends, and we can start to make changes in our immediate situations. But we can also make changes in the legislature, in the government, and the way that they deal with us. We can start speaking up, because now we know we're armed with information, so we should be able to make a difference. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to do a town hall meeting, and I didn't know how to do it, but I knew I wanted to do it. And with that in my mind constantly, a part of my everyday thought process, then, but I knew that I needed to have enough information. There were things that I needed to do to make sure that I was ready for that. So I've had some experiences as I have been out here working and educating people and going through all of these different bad deals that are out here. I've just learned a lot. Now I can move to phase two, and phase two is becoming more visible in the communities, and becoming known as the person, the go-to person where solar is concerned. But I picked a date, a time, and a location, and we are 29 days away from the town hall meeting. So it's so spectacular. And what I mean when I say now, the time is always right now. It really is. The time is always now. So the things that you want to do, don't put them off. The things that you think that you can't do, you want to do them, but you can't do them, work with it and cultivate the ideas, because the idea is just looking for someplace to live, just someplace to live. And so we are going to be at the DeSoto Civic Center in DeSoto, Texas on June 20th, 2024 from 6 to 9 p.m. And we're going to be talking all about solar, everything that homeowners don't know. We're going to tell you all the secrets, at least the ones that we know. And we're going to open up a platform for you to speak, because I just know there are going to be many people there who have problems, and they're going to be talking about the nightmares. And so if you're there and you hear their stories, you'll know the questions to ask and things to do to for you and those people that you love. So I cannot wait to see everybody there. We're going to have a person, maybe a person who talks about credit. We're going to have maybe an attorney there who can help us understand how to get out of these bad deals. And then, of course, you will have me, and I'm going to tell you everything I know. And that's just it. So that's about all I have for today. I'm looking down here to see if there are any comments. None. But now I do want to thank you all, because even though I don't get comments here when we are actually live on the air, when I go back and I look at the analytics for the podcast, there are questions. Some of you are asking questions, and when I see those, I do my best to bring those questions back the following week and answer them. So it's okay if you're not interacting with me yet, but I do know that you're listening, and I love that. Okay. And we will do our very best to make sure that we're giving you as much as we can. So one thing that we're going to be doing is putting together, maybe it will be an ebook, or maybe it'll just be a tip sheet about things to look for out there when you're dealing with solar representatives and installation companies and things of that nature. As soon as we have that ready, we will let you know, and we will let you know how to get it. Again, I am Robin Fahmy. I am your solar energy education advocate, and I am your host of this particular podcast, Switch to Solar. It works if you work it. It's all about solar. And that's it. That's me. So I'm going to get ready to sign off here. I don't have anything else to really say, except I am so happy and I am so grateful. You can call me anytime. I can be reached at 214-497-7440. If you have questions about solar energy, or maybe situations that you find yourself in regarding solar or electricity, one thing that I want to do is help people understand how to read their electricity bills. Like right now, it's time for me to renew my contract with JEXA Energy. Now, JEXA does have a dollar for dollar buyback program, which means that I pay, right now I'm paying 10 cents per kilowatt. And my overproduction that gets sent back, they pay me 10 cents. So it's the same, dollar for dollar. They pay me the same. But, you know, you've got other charges on that bill. That electricity bill includes more than just the cost of energy. Some of you think that you're paying 10 cents per kilowatt, but you're actually might be paying 15 cents or 20 cents. I'm going to do a little bit of that at the town hall, helping people understand how to read their bill and how to calculate it, because whatever they tell you is not always the truth. I mean, Encore delivers the energy in my area, but they also charge me to deliver that energy. So I've got a base charge, I've got a delivery charge, I've got taxes, and I've got it's something else on there. I can't think of it right now, but it's important to know how to read your bill, to know that could be a reason that your bill is high, because you may be being overcharged in some way that makes a difference in the outcome of that bill. So you need to know how to calculate that, to know if you're really getting what you say. So you think you're paying 10 cents, but you're actually paying 20 cents. And if that's the case, then yeah, your bill is going to be a little bit higher. But if you don't know how to challenge that, then what can you do? You can feel the pain as you do. You can feel the pain of paying the high electricity bills. And another thing, some of you are using kilowatts as if you are a small commercial building. I've seen kilowatts usage, 30,000, 28,000. I had one person who was using like 38,000 kilowatts in a year. And I'm like, what's going on? When I was just talking to him in general, my electricity bill is $900 every month. So once I was able to take a look at that bill and ask some questions, I found out that he had 3 commercial freezers in his home, and he has a pool. So for those of you who have swimming pools, that pump is going all the time. So that's a big deal right there. And that's what we want to do, is just educate you on how you can really be involved in the life of how electricity works in your home and manage it the best way for you, instead of having it managed for you by utility companies. All righty. So there is nothing more. And I am just going to encourage you to do it now. Whatever it is, do it now. And when you do one thing, the next thing will show up. And when you do that next thing, another will show up. And then you will find yourself living your actual dreams. Remember, the time is always right now. I'm a witness that when you and that timing are in sync, you know, there's nothing like it. You can't beat it. You'll want to be 25 again so you can start over, but I don't think that'll happen for you. Anyway, I am Robin Fafming, Solar Logics EDU. 214-497-7440. If you want to look at my website, solarlogicsedu.com. Remember, we are spelling Logix, Logexs, solarlogicsedu.com. We will talk to you again on Thursday, and look for me, because I'm going to be giving daily updates as we get closer and closer to the countdown of the town hall. I'm so excited, you guys. So I'm good night, and thank you very much for being here. And it's always my pleasure to do everything that I can to make sure that you are smart enough to equalize the buying experience and have solar work in your lives the way that it is actually supposed to, because the sun comes out every day. Okay? And it does exactly what it needs to do for you. Take care. Bye bye.